It was a dark and stormy night. But now it's a bright new morning here on the Welsknight Patreon server. This is HistoryWes, aka Wes Allison, and we are back at my base. Waking up in the morning, not much to it yet. That little building is my mine, and there are my statues I showed you before. Here is my first relatively large build, and this is going to be my storage warehouse. As you can see, it's not full of chests yet, but it's going to be soon. So I am working on filling that up. Now, if I was playing in 1.13, I'd be able to stack chests right next to each other. But in 1.12, which we're playing here on the Welsknight Patreon server, you can't do that. So how am I managing this magic? Well, those of you who are accomplished Minecraft players probably know the secret. You alternate chests with trap chests, and the trap chests aren't attached to anything. They aren't trapped really, they just are made with a tripwire hook, and that makes them different enough that they can stand right next to a regular chest. But now I've got to go back and make some more, because that's a whole lot of wood. Let's see, did I count this out? There's 16 chests per section, and there are 7 sections per side, and there are 2 sides, and since I can't do the math in my head, I have to do it on paper while I'm rummaging through my drawers here for all the stuff that I need. I've got, and you can see why my drawers need to be why I need this warehouse, because I've got just stuff stuffed in every place. So that's 224 chests, double chests that I have to make. 448 individual chests, half of them trap chests, half of them regular chests. So just in the number of chests created alone, this is a pretty good big project. Plus the building, which, as you can see, I'm making out of terracotta mostly. I've got lots of terracotta. I started off buying some terracotta at the market in town, and then I found the community mesa where we can mine our own. Now, I'd gone out to the community desert before, and it was like down to the bare bedrock because people have been mining there for almost a whole year, and I kind of expected the mesa to be the same, but there was actually a lot. And I was just there for a little while, and I got 7 or 8 stacks of terracotta of different colors, and so I've already got a bit of a wall, and just inside the wall I've got a row of fence posts, as you can see, and on top of every single fence post space I have a torch. Now, these torches won't be visible once the walls are all in place, but they will not only do the walls fill the empty spaces, but it will light it all up without it having to have any visible light, and you know, keep the creepers out and any other mobs too. But I mean, the real problem with creepers is the real problem with a storage area is creepers, because if they blow up, you got your stuff all over the place, and you have to spend a huge amount of time sorting it. So I'm building the back wall here, and I've got regular terracotta, and then I've got light gray terracotta that I'm doing in inserts. So I'm going to give it a little bit of depth, and then I'm going to use fence posts to fill in that space where I'm creating the deep parts. Probably going to go with dark oak, because it's got the dark color contrast that I want. And quite frankly, the only other thing I would probably use would be spruce, And I'm going to be using spruce for so many other projects that I really don't want to waste it doing fence posts. That's why all these fences that are inside that are going to be invisible are all just made of regular oak. So this is going along very nice. This is of course not my design. This is based pretty much on the creation that Welsknight did in one of his builds, and I wish I could remember which one it was. I'm thinking it's one of Welsknight's Kingdoms, but I'm not 100% sure on that. He's done something similar in a lot of his different builds, whether he's building it in a cave or in a castle. He has some kind of storage system, and this is very much along that line, with the beams dividing the sections, and he's even done the hidden lamps or hidden torches behind the thing. So this is very derivative. None of this is my own idea, but I have done it enough times now that I can pretty much do it myself without having to refer back to anything. And you can see as we went by the side there how you've got these nice rectangular inset pieces that really would be okay by themselves without filling them up with anything, but they look better once the fence posts are in. So now let's see, we can place those right on top of the first one, right on top of a torch, and that way we won't have to go all the way to the wall and waste a piece of terracotta that nobody would be seeing anyway. There we go. And then from there, just place it right next to each other. Look at this. I almost look like I know what I'm actually doing. Now, a lot of people complain about using terracotta. They don't like it. It's like diorite. People hate on diorite. I don't. I mean, I think it looks great for some things. If you want to do a floor, diorite looks good. If you want to build some kind of like a classical constructed building, like not the White House necessarily, but you know, something along that line, I think polished diorite makes a good building material. But anyway, terracotta, I really love. It's like my go-to building material. Of course, I live in the Southwest United States, where, you know, not too long ago, adobe structures were the dominant things, and then the Spanish architecture style used a lot of terracotta, and then later a cement colored to look like terracotta. So these kind of buildings are pretty common in my part of the world. Now we're working on the front here. Front's not going to quite have as many cutouts in it as the sides are, just because I have to allow for the door and everything else. But we'll have some. Now I could have gone one level lower so that it would be one block above the ground if I didn't have all the torches in there. And do I need all those torches? You know, all, like, I don't know, there's probably 100 torches in there. Probably not. I could probably get by just putting the torches on the backs of the beams that I have in there. But I'll be honest, I really hate creepers. They really creep me out. I mean, I don't even like the look of them. But I was playing a game not too long ago in the world that you'll see if you watch any of my venturing videos, and in that game we took over a mansion in the Canopy Forest, a dark mansion, and redid it and fixed it into our own base. And I had built a great storage system similar to this one. And I had lit it up with some glowstones in the floors, but apparently not good enough. And a creeper spawned and blew up like a whole row of chests. And it was a pain, not only rebuilding it, but then having to get all those picked up before everything despawned, because there was like 1,000,000 pieces of stuff in those chests. Okay, so the downside to the inset piece like this is here in the front wall, at least it looks kind of unsightly from the inside. On the sides you don't really see it, you don't really notice anything, but on the front, looking at the front wall from the inside, you've got these two big blocks kind of hanging there, so it doesn't look great. But you could put stuff under there. You could fill that up with chests too if you wanted to. I'm going to end up using it as a place to put my anvils and maybe some potion stands, stuff like that I'll be using. And boy, it will be nice to get all this stuff sorted out, because I'm naturally a kind of person that likes stuff sorted. I'm not always very good about keeping it sorted, but I like it sorted. Alright, well, time for a little nap. And we're back. It seems like, man, sometimes even if there are 5 or 7 or 9 people in the server, sometimes it seems like I'm the only one that sleeps. Alright, checking around for creepers. Nope, don't see any creepers. Looking good. Okay, so we're going to build this wall in the middle, which will divide the two sections apart. And it really doesn't matter what it is made of, because you won't be able to see it because it'll be covered up with chests. But I'm kind of following the same color motif anyway. Got the light gray terracotta on the middle, surrounded by the regular colored terracotta on the edges. And these are spruce beams, if you weren't able to tell, which required quite a bit of tree cutting. You know, I used to never want to build anything out of logs, even though, you know, everybody prefers the look of log. I prefer the look of logs. But in a survival world, I mean, you can cut one log up and you get, what, 16 planks, pieces of planks, blocks of planks, and that's a lot of wood. So this is kind of extravagant, all these beams. But I picked this base location because there are forests of all the different types of wood around, with the exception of acacia. To the southeast there's a jungle, to the southwest there's a dark oak forest, to the northeast there is spruce forest, and then right around here is oak and birch all over the place. Alright, I forgot what I was doing here for a moment. I forgot that there was going to be a wall here, and that the chests inside were going to be hidden. But that's obviously the way it's going to go, so it goes like that. Yeah, it's starting to take shape. Now I'm building some little beams here. No. Trying to make this odd overhang here not look so weird, but there's really not much you can do. Take out as much of the offending overhang as you can to open up the inside a little bit. There we go. And you see my street lamps there, which are redstone lights. I'm going to later replace those. I'd seen that design on YouTube and decided that was going to work, and I'd use them in a creative world. But once you get building with redstone, when you have to go into the nether and get glowstones in order to make those, and as I pointed out before, we have basically unlimited sea lanterns in this game. It just doesn't make sense to go with that. You should just go with the sea lanterns. So we need more wood for more chests. And like I was saying with the terracotta, I feel the same way about birch. I don't hate birch like everybody else seems to. I think it looks good. I think it makes a great contrast color. I like the light colored wood. In fact, in real life, my kitchen or my dining room table is made of birch, and the chairs that go with it, they're not as light as the birch in Minecraft. The real world birch is, well, it's stained, so it's a little darker even than the regular oak is, but they are birch. Got them from my mother. My mother bought them when I was like in middle school, and it's one of the few possessions that I got passed down from her. So there you go. But in this case, I'm chopping all this birch because when you're making chests, it doesn't matter what wood you use, of course. There we go. This ground is all uneven. I plan to level it out. I also plan to go down into that hole and torch it up. And we have a downpour almost daily on the server. We have downpours, and they are like, you know, really lightning storms. I was gonna say it's like living in Hawaii, but you know, in Hawaii it's like light daily afternoon showers. This is not like that. This is some serious thunderstorms, and it's almost every single afternoon in Minecraft terms. Add to that, I live in the desert, and here we don't really have any showers, big, little, light, or otherwise. It rains like 2 inches per year. I don't mind a Minecraft shower, but twice within walking distance from where I am right here, lightning came down and created skeleton riders and attacked me. And all I got was one skeleton horse and I think a helmet. Alright, so this is what you do on a rainy day. You play some music. And then you take a nap. Or you make a door. And I don't know why I made a birch door, because oh, look at the undead burn. Yep. Oh, I got hit by a zombie who lit me on fire. Shoot the creeper. Shoot him. Missed. Got him. Yes, I know. They're too far away. They're not going to bother me anyway. Oh, so I slept and then I got up and it was nighttime again. That's not fair. What was I even talking about? Oh, the birch door. With this particular build, the warehouse being no windows on it essentially, I want an oak door with a window. Nice day. That other building with no nice roof on it is my AFK fishing farm. Okay, so here we are. More chests. Oh, and just in case you're as big a noob as I am and you're trying to do this, you need to hold down shift to put a chest on top of another chest. It's like, I see all these guys doing this, nobody ever tells you that. That's it. I didn't know for a long time that you had to hold down shift when you placed your hoppers in order to make it go into the right place. I didn't know for a long time that when you were in creative and you were flying or floating and you needed to press the shift down to place a hopper, that you needed to press shift and space in order to not drop out of the sky. So there's another tip for you noobs like me. I'm not calling you names because I proudly fall into that category. More chests. More. Yeah, I'm running out of wood, even with all the resource gathering I've been doing. I'm running out of the wood to make more chests. And I need gold bars in order to make tripwire hooks, in order to make trap chests, because half of them have to be trap chests and half of them have to be regular chests. It's a whole chesty problem. I said I needed gold bars to make a tripwire hook. Of course, I meant iron bars. Okay, here we go. Back to the grind. Right, here we go. Back to the grind. See, now that building doesn't look bad. It looks a lot smaller when you're looking at it from a distance than it really is until you see, the relationship with the size of the door. Pressing shift, we place our chests, which those were tripwire chests or trap chests, and these are regular chests. Then we do the next section, trap chest. Then I need a regular chest to stand on, trap chest, regular chest. I'm pretty excited. I've almost got one whole side done. The real crazy thing is I'm never going to fill up all these chests. I'm never even going to decide what all of them are. I've built myself a warehouse that's more extensive than I will ever need. But better too much than not enough. What if you built your warehouse and you filled it up completely but needed like 3 more chests? What are you going to do? Build an annex, a garage. I suppose you could add a story on, but then you'd have a lot of empty space up there. Now, I've built similar buildings to this on 2 previous worlds, and in both of them I did a second story, but the second story was like a faux story. It didn't have anything in it. It was just to make the roof look cool, basically. But this one, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do a very gently sloping roof using slabs coming up from both sides. Nice simple A-frame. Well, a really squashed A-frame, not a very big A. Need more wood. So the idea of this whole base is going to be a kind of not quite steampunkish, but kind of a little bit like Main Street USA Disneyland, 1910s America, cross with maybe some Miyazaki European kind of a thing. If you've watched the Studio Ghibli films of Mr. Miyazaki, you know he does these fantasy worlds, but a lot of them have a European base. Those are my favorite ones, like Howl's Moving Castle, Castle in the Sky, and even The Cat Returns or Porco Rosso. Any of those, they're really kind of very whimsical, kind of they're not Victorian and they're not Edwardian. I don't know what the next time period is in the United Kingdom. Oh crap, I hate chopping these really big trees, not because I particularly want to save them, but it just takes so long to get all those extra branches and stuff. You got to chop through all these leaves. I'm trying to just chop the ones that are just straight and leave these alone unless I really absolutely need the wood. Anyway, so that's what my base is going to look like. I'm going to build some buildings. First my warehouse, then I'm going to build a super smelter and probably a few other little buildings, a cafe, maybe a bakery, and then I want to do some brownstone apartments. And we'll see. We'll see how much I can get built before the server comes to an end. That's a thing coming up. So, at least I'm entertaining the chickens. Or a chicken. See, this is what I'm talking about. You gotta dig through all the leaves to get these last bits of wood, or else you have floating trees, which everybody, including me, hate. Despite the fact that one of the Minecraft songs on the Minecraft soundtrack is entitled Floating Trees. If you didn't know, you should check that out. You should buy the Minecraft soundtrack and listen to it. Anyway, we're going to be finishing up here in a minute. I'm going to have enough resources to probably finish off the chests. And when you next see me, hopefully that'll be done. The whole warehouse. The whole thing. Get that last piece of wood. That looks like a creeper hole if ever there was one. Okay. So, I guess I'll just keep chopping until I've got enough wood to finish up. And I'll let you go for now. It's been fun being here with you. And I hope you enjoyed getting a look at the Welsknight Patreon server. It is really awesome. You should check out Welsknight's Patreon page and find out all the great rewards he has in addition to being a member on this server, which is truly awesome. In the meantime, I'll be working on this warehouse. So, thanks for joining me. Have a great day, and most importantly, keep on Minecrafting. Don't forget to like and subscribe too, or not.